Got any advice on the best way west?
Yeah, go east. You come this far, then you know what's out there.
Hi, I'm Jesus. Nice to meet you. I gotta say, this may be one of my favorite shows in years.
Yay! That's so lovely to hear.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't wait to see the episodes that I didn't see. So I want to ask you first, did you get the chance to play the video game or to see parts of the story of Sarah?
When I was younger, I used to watch. I couldn't play the game because I'm just not good at playing video games, unfortunately, but I used to watch gamers playing the game, and then I kind of eventually got to a place where I would just watch like a silent gameplay as if it was a movie. So I was very aware of Sarah. I would cry every time something happened to her in the beginning of the show, in the beginning of the game. And yeah, I loved the characters, I loved the story. Yeah, I was very aware of it prior to being involved myself.
Oh, that's cool. So what parts of Sarah did you work the most with Neil and Craig to build your own version of the character? Which ingredients did you add to the character since she had more time?
I think the main thing that was built upon is the relationship between Sarah and Joel. And I think that with the help and work of Craig and Neil, they kind of created a space where me and Pedro could kind of expand upon that relationship, so that then as the series continues, you can kind of, the prevalence of Sarah in Joel's life is more recognizable in times when she's mentioned or when he looks at his watch or things like that. So I think that was such a wonderful thing to be able to build on, because it's so beautifully represented in the game in such a short space of time. So I think just to have more time to kind of build up that foundation for Joel's character, and then eventually Sarah's in a way too, was wonderful.
And how did you work with Pedro, the bond that is going to be so important in the whole story?
I think we genuinely, which is lovely, is we genuinely really get on. He is one of my closest friends, and he's very important to me as a human, separate from working. So I think that because of that, it was kind of easy in a way, because that relationship and that kind of love for each other is already there, so it doesn't feel like it needs to be forced to the camera. But I think it was just kind of hanging out with each other, speaking about it, but then more so that Nico and Pedro could get on, so that then Sarah and Joel, it translates onto the camera, which fingers crossed it did, I don't know. But yeah, I think that was the main kind of work that we put into it, which was just hanging out with each other, which wasn't a hardship. You
star in like the short film about a catastrophe with the biggest budget ever. It's like amazing. I'd like to know, how was the shooting all your part? It feels like frenzy, but so big and yet so personal. So how was your experience?
It was amazing to film. I think it was incredible because it felt so real. Everything's genuinely around you. When I'm seeing an infected person, I'm genuinely seeing an infected person in front of me. So I think to have that was incredible. Yeah, it was amazing. And I think it was also so interesting because with my portion of filming, it was, you see a version of life prior to the outbreak and then you see life after. And I think to have those two kind of weighed up together was amazing, because it was just so different, and to kind of see that change in one space, in one like episode, I think is incredible, because obviously then the continuation of the show is kind of post outbreak. So I think to have that was amazing, because you got to see both sides of the coin in a way.
Yeah, and it's one of the best openings of a video game, and it's one of the best openings of a TV show, I gotta say.
So much. Thank you very much.
I also wanted to know, since the show is taking advantage of the medium to expand the stories of the characters that didn't have time in the video game, can we expect any surprises about Sarah?
I think surprises, not necessarily. I think you get to see some more of than you do in the game. But I think surprises, I think anyone who's played the game, I mean, I obviously won't say anything, but I think anyone who's played the game, you kind of know what's happening. So I think that remains true, but I think that you get to see more of, which was very fun for me to do and to portray.
I think this is the video game that I've talked more and discussed more with my friends. So what would you like the audience to take from the show?
I think with this story and show in mind, I think I'd love people to take away kind of the importance of relationships and family and how kind of uplifting they can be and how they can drive you towards anything, I think is a wonderful message, and like to highlight that consistently throughout with every relationship, whether it be familial or romantic or whatever. I think it's incredibly important that it demonstrates that, and I think that would be lovely for someone to kind of take that away from watching the show. And then I think also just to kind of anyone who relates in any way to anything that any of the characters have been through, I think is so wonderful, because there's such a variety of emotional turmoil going on, and I think for any element of it to be in any way relatable to anyone is such an important and lovely takeaway. So hopefully that's something that many people can relate to, or they'll find a piece of themselves within the show.
Oh, that's really great. So thank you so much for this wonderful interview, and congratulations again. This will be the biggest show of 2023 for sure.
Thank you very much. Let's hope so.
Darkness is falling, the sky has turned gray, a hound in the distance is starting to fade.